Hallo zusammen und herzlich willkommen beim Spitzguuge Podcast. Heute ohne Luca, das hat einen ganz besonderen Grund. Ich konnte den Lyam MacKinnon interviewen. Der Lyam ist ein Schweizer, der mit 19 den Schritt nach Amerika gewagt hat. Er hat so viele Rekorde schon können brechen und wir haben so ein bisschen auf seine Zeit in Amerika können zurückschauen, was ihm besonders gefallen hat, was vielleicht eher weniger, und machen davon etwas gefasst. Von ihm werden wir in der Zukunft noch ganz viel hören können. Das Interview ist auf Englisch. Mein Französisch war leider nicht so gut gewesen. Er ist ein Westschweizer, darum haben wir uns für das entschieden. Und ich wünsche euch ganz viel Spass bei dieser Folge. So, today we have a lot of firsts on the Spitzguuge podcast. My first interview in English, first interview with a player who played in the States, first interview with a player who has numerous records, like the fastest hat trick, 4 league goals in one game, 4 Player of the Week awards in one season, and the most important one, most prolific Swiss goal scorer in the modern American soccer history. And I would like to welcome Mr. MacKinnon. Hi to our podcast.
Hi, I'm really happy to be here. Thank you very much for the invitation.
Thank you very much. So, for everyone who doesn't know him, he's a 25-year-old Swiss football player, playing mostly in the offensive left side of the pitch. He's extremely fast, extremely prolific, and has experienced a lot in the last few years. He made the decision to go to the States in 2019, so 5 years ago. And today we would like to just get to know the American football system better, and also get to know you better, your decisions, and just your journey over the last few years. But at beginning, I just wanted to ask you, you're currently in Switzerland, am I correct? So
Yes.
you're at home.
Exactly. I'm home enjoying some time in Switzerland.
Perfect. And we would like to start in Switzerland. You started your career at Team Wo, like the Lausanne Academy. And I wanted just to ask you, how did you get into football to begin with? Why did you choose that sport and not another sport?
So I started playing, I think, when I was 4. So my dad really liked football, and he had a lot of CDs and old games. So I used to watch them a lot at home. So I got interested in football very early. And then my grandma also, there was a big park next to our house, and she always took me there, like on walks and stuff when I was a kid. And there was kids playing football every time next to it. And then one day she just asked if I could play, and I was very young, and they let me play, and I started playing there. And then, I started going every day, and then I started around 4.
Oh, cool. And then did you join a club at maybe around that age, or did it take a little time?
I played for 1 year, just in that local, there was people organizing it. It was kind of like a neighborhood organization. And then the year after, when I was 5, I joined Stade Lausanne. They're playing now in the Challenge League, but back in the day they were playing in the 5th division or something. But I played there. That was my first club. I think I played there for 2 years until I was 7.
And then you joined the local academy.
No, after that I changed. I went to a team called Malais for, I think it was 4 years, and then I joined the Lausanne Sport Academy.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I saw that you were you played for the under 16, 18s and under 21.
Yeah.
You were captain in both teams. I saw. If that's correct.
Yeah, it was more in the under 18s.
Yeah. And then how was that the type of football for you? Like, did you were you happy at the teams in Switzerland, or was it like you were missing out on something?
No, I was very happy. I think those years, especially like under 18 and then the first 2 years in under 21, I learned a lot because I had coaches, that were trying to get me ready for the top level for the first team. So, I was learning so much every day in training, and the games were harder, and the demand is higher. And then in the under 21, I think is the year where it was the hardest, but it's the years that I enjoyed the most because we had a wonderful group of guys that were all my friends, and we all came from the same places, at least pretty close to each other in the city. And then we had a coach, that taught us a lot, especially tactically. He really got us ready for that next level. But maybe I was missing a little bit of freedom. We had a very, very good team, so sometimes it was hard to get on the field. Sometimes I was playing. Sometimes I was playing, but I knew I couldn't really take too many risks. But I loved my time in Lausanne. I really loved my time. The last couple of years were wonderful. But yeah, I wanted to see, how far I can go.
Yeah, then that when the big step came, you chose to go to the States, exactly to the Villanova Wild College. How did that decision come about? Why did you decide that college, and what was the first contact with them?
So the reason why it all started is because I had two teammates from my team in Lausanne that went to the US before me. So I kind of had an idea of, how it's possible to do it. And there's like agencies that help players go from Europe to the US. And then I think it was 6 months into my last year in Lausanne. I was thinking, because I wanted to keep doing my college studies. So I was thinking, let's see if there's an opportunity there that's very good, and like a scholarship or something, it could be very good for me to go and keep playing at a good level. So that agency reached out to me, and they started helping me. They said, listen, we can talk to coaches and universities in the US for you, and you can decide at the end if you want to go or not. So I didn't really think much about it. I just said, yeah, I'll do it. And then at the end of the season, I'll decide. And then Villanova's coach, Tom Carlin, came to Switzerland to watch a game. It was against Basel. It was in Basel against them. And I scored, and yeah, he said, listen, like, let's meet tomorrow. And then he offered me, like a full scholarship with everything, like I didn't have to pay anything to go. Everything was taken care of. So yeah, that's how I ended up going there, because obviously Villanova is one of the best academic schools in the US as well. So I saw the opportunity as well to get a very, very good degree and also play at a good level because it's a good team.
So it was like a split, not a split, but both were important for you, the sports side and also the academic side, or it was like you were still like holding both options, if that's the correct term.
Yeah, because I know in Switzerland, I mean in Europe as well, it's like when you turn 20, 21, you really have to go play soccer for the first team if you want to make it. But I needed just a little more time. It's almost like I needed 2-3 years more to really develop and also get my degree done and then be able to really focus on soccer. At least that was my perspective. So that's why I did that, because I think it was the best plan for me personally.
Okay, and I did some research. So the Villanova College is in Pennsylvania. For everyone who is listening or doesn't know, it's like the left side of New York, the state of New York, and near Canada. And I think Villanova is in the suburbs of Philly. I wasn't sure if it's the city. And did you go there beforehand? Like look at the city, look at the culture, or just like hoped everything would work out when you get there?
Yeah, so for me, I didn't go there before, and they even asked me if I wanted to go. But the thing is I had the season with Lausanne Sport to finish, so I didn't have the chance to go, and also I was doing a lot of research on the school, on everything, and no, I trusted it. I didn't know. I was just hoping it was gonna work out, and yeah, thankfully it did.
And do you remember your first day at the college? Because in Europe or in Switzerland, we maybe think about like coaches screaming like lost chance you, like you just do your football or soccer and the rest is they don't care about academics, they will help you somehow. Or how was that for you?
So I remember the very first day I got to the US. It's funny because I got to the US, I had 2 big suitcases, but they got lost in Frankfurt. So I had nothing. I just had a backpack because they lost my suitcases in Germany. So for 5 days, I just had a backpack, and they were just giving me stuff to use, like clothes and stuff. But then the first training, it was obviously very physical. I remember it was much more intense and hard than what I knew in Switzerland. I remember we did the fitness test, and then we played a lot, like games, and then more running, and that was kind of what it was. But I enjoyed it. I don't know why. I really liked the intensity.
So when we go to your first game in Villanova, I think it was on the 30th of August against Delaware. Your first official game. I don't know if you have any friendlies before. You scored once and assisted twice in your first game. How was that for you? Did you think that's way too easy for me, or was it just like just a very good debut for you?
So it was, like you said, it was good that we had friendlies before, because we played friendlies before, and I saw that we played very good teams. So I saw that the level was pretty similar to when I was in Lausanne. And so in the first game, we played a team that wasn't as good as the top teams. So we won 5-0. It was a good game. You know, I had a goal and 2 assists, but I was just enjoying the moment. You know, it was nice to come in a new place and be able to, you know, start well and establish myself. And yeah, it was a great experience, but I knew in the back of my mind there would be better teams coming, so I wasn't too excited. I wasn't saying it's too easy or anything, but no, it was nice.
And you told me before that the football or soccer in America is quite physical, like not as more physical that you expected. How would you describe it more? Or can you describe it more? Like what is physical? Like how do the tactics how they are different to Switzerland or to European football?
So I think the physicality is the biggest aspect, because, for example, in Switzerland, at least in Lausanne, we were a team that wanted to keep the ball the whole game. We wanted to keep the ball, move the ball, find the way to score and score a lot of goals. But the most important thing was don't lose the ball. And there it was the opposite. It was, we get the ball, we have to go score. You know, so a lot of times you get the ball, you try to go to score, and then you lose the ball, so you have to run back to defend. And they really put the emphasis on players running. So if you're attacking, you have to attack 100%. You have to go back 100%. And also the physicality. I think, for example, I feel like there was less fouls that were called. It was harder, like in the impact. And yeah, so that there was also bigger players. So I think physicality is more from the aspect of the running, because there was a lot of turnovers, you know, and then from the aspect of the body as well, just I had to be more prepared, you know, physically.
And did you also, in Switzerland, you played with the same age group, and in the colleges, there are probably different age groups, I think, right?
So in college, there's just one age group, but everybody plays together. So it usually goes from like 18 to like 25 or 24. So yeah, if you're 18 and you play against 24-year-old, it's different, I was used to playing against adults in 21s because we played in first in
Promotion league.
like first or whatever. Was it fourth division, I think?
Oh, fourth. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, it was totally different. It was different.
And now, if you look at your whole first season, you played a lot of games, scored some goals, assisted some goals. How was your decision then? Were you happy after your first 6 months that you made the decision to go to the States, or were you also maybe looking back like did I make the right decision? How was that for you?
No, I was happy because I was in a good situation where I knew that if I do well for 3 years or 3.5 years, I'm gonna get my opportunity to go play pro. I think I was maybe frustrated that we didn't win, a title. I was very focused on winning, a title or making playoffs, which we didn't do in my first year. So I was really happy there, to be honest. I was excited to go back. It was also a new life, learning, meeting new people. It wasn't only soccer there, so I felt like I was also growing as a man as well.
Yeah. Because there were, like you said, there were probably, I don't know how many sport teams that were there, and how was life for you, like near Philly, or like in your area? Like, how did you live? Did you live on the campus, or do you have an apartment?
Yeah, so I was on the campus, in like dorm rooms. My roommate, he was from Iceland. He was a defender on my team. Great guy. He was very funny. So I learned a lot about Iceland for 6 months, and then I had guys from a bunch like English guys from Canada on my team. So it was very nice. But yeah, the campus, beautiful campus. Big, kind of like typical American campus, pretty big. I think it was 8,000 students, 10,000 students. Yeah, you meet a lot of people, and it's different when you're an athlete in the US. People like see you a little bit different, not too much, but a little bit. And the basketball team at Villanova is very, very successful. So that was nice to go to the basketball games. And Philly is also a great city. You could take the train to go like 20 minutes to the city. No, it was really beautiful. I had a lot of fun as well. But yeah, it was nice.
So then I think we will come to your second season at Villanova. I looked at your stats and I was asking myself, why were there so or almost no stats for the first half of the season in 2020? Yeah. And then I remembered COVID hit. How was that for you? I was trying to put myself in your shoes, like being in a new country, like maybe haven't made so many friends, or I don't know. That must have been really difficult for you, like from September till I don't know when your season restarted.
Yeah, so actually I went back in January, and then I think it was in early March they sent everybody home. So I was home from March 2020 to September 2020.
Okay.
So I was here. It was nice because I was in my family. I was able to just train by myself. There wasn't much to do. So, and then basically I went back in 2020. We didn't play for 6 months. So that was basically a whole year without playing games. And then
that's crazy.
It was crazy, yeah. And then we started playing again in 2021. So the season, I think the season didn't even count. So it was just a season, but it was like, I don't think it counted yet. It was just like
written off.
Yeah, it was like 10 games or something.
Okay. So then I think we will come to the next season because not that many things happened in 2020. We will go to 2021. You completely exploded in that season, if that's the right word. You had like 8 goals, 6 assists. It was crazy. I looked at some of your goals, like I said at the beginning, so prolific, very fast, like just like head down and try to score. Why did that season work so well for you?
I think so. I worked a lot during COVID and also 2021, the spring, because I think that's when I realized, like, okay, what do I need to do to really get to the next level? And I think physically, I worked a lot on my endurance, on my body. I really wanted to reach a next level, and then when we got into the season, I felt great. I didn't. I had my body felt great. I didn't have any injuries. I was, feeling fast. I was feeling strong. So we started the season very well, and I was scoring goals, and I think I got that confidence as well early. Um, and I think I knew also that I was playing a good part in our team, in scoring and things like that. So yeah, I think that's how I really got the confidence in that year in 2021, and we ended up having a really good year.
And I wanted to ask you, because like you were you had such a good season, and we will try to talk a bit at the end again. But were you in any contact with the Swiss under national teams during that time? Did you talk to them at all?
No,
Mhm.
not at all. No, I
Mhm.
didn't have any contacts with
Mhm.
the Swiss. Even now, I mean, I never had
Uh-huh.
very much like any contact. I know they focus on guys that are like in Switzerland or
Yeah.
playing in the top leagues in Europe.
Mhm.
At the time, I mean, there's players that are much better than me that I knew. So I was
Mhm.
focused on my American journey, and
Mhm. Mhm.
and yeah.
Okay, so back to America we go. I want to ask. I was not sure. I saw on your Wikipedia that you also went to on loan during that season. Is that correct?
Oh,
To
so
Reading, I think, or something.
yeah.
Yeah.
So in America, there's like a summer league that's
Uh-huh.
2 months, and
Ah.
players from college, they're allowed to go play in the summer for a team
Ah.
that's just for two
Mhm.
months, and that's very nice because
Mhm.
instead of going home and not playing at all, you can
Mhm.
go play for 2 months or so with, like, I think it's fourth division or fifth division, I don't know,
Mhm.
but it's just a league that's like 2 months, and then there's games like Saturdays and Wednesdays. So you get a lot of games in, and it's especially good for guys that don't play much in their team in college, and they can play in the summer in the team, in the summer team they're from. So I did that for 2 summers.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
West something, right?
Westchester,
Westchester.
but it was more like friends, so I
Mhm.
knew there was friends there, so I just
Mhm.
wanted to stay in shape.
Mhm.
So I did that for 2 summers.
Mhm. And um, like you said, you were like getting more physical in that season. You could train a lot during COVID. Is that something that you also train on in the States? Like, is it more important, like you said, to be physical? Do you have like coaches that nutritionists and everything that help you
Yeah,
during your development?
yeah. I think American football
Yeah.
influences soccer,
Hmm.
football, or I mean soccer a lot,
Hmm.
because American football is they are experts in making athletes become top athletes.
Hmm.
So I talked a lot with physical trainers there. They gave me a lot of tips, a lot of things to really get bigger. I mean, not bigger, but like more strong and faster. So I think, especially one strength coach that we had, his name is Kevin Miller. He's big into eating good, eating natural foods, and training hard, and building your muscles, but also your joints, your knees, your ankles. So I was very focused on that, making it to that next level, but also my body has to be able to handle
Yeah.
it. So I think that's the reason why it influenced my game.
Mhm. Um, and in 2021, during that season, you were voted, or you were in maybe you can explain it for me. You were in the unanimous selection 2022 in the All-Star team. Do you also have an All-Star game like in basketball or in other sports in America in college football?
No,
Hmm.
so at the end of the year, they just do a bunch of team of the year,
Oh,
team
okay.
of this.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
it's basically team of the year.
Hmm. Hmm.
And then there was the team of the year for the Philly schools, and then there
Hmm.
was team of the year for the whole
Hmm.
conference.
Hmm.
So I think I got both
Hmm.
at the end of 2021.
That
But it
that
was,
must have really made you feel like accomplished, like I made the right decision, and all these awards, right? That really
yeah,
helped your mental game, probably.
for sure, for
Mm-hmm.
sure. And it was giving me confidence that I was progressing as well. I think that's
Mm-hmm.
very important.
Mm-hmm.
My goal was always to be a professional soccer player.
Mm-hmm.
But it's hard when you're kind of in the same place and you have to finish, your degree or something,
Yeah.
but you have to stay performing. And um, I just knew I had to stay disciplined. And these kind of awards, they give you hope that if you keep working, it's gonna pay at the end of the journey.
And just because you told me now, what education did you pursue? Like what type of
Uh,
what did you call it? What type of award?
Degree
Yeah,
or,
degree did you get? Yes.
yeah,
Mhm.
I did economics and political science.
Ah,
So
okay,
I
okay.
actually did. So it's like two diplomas was different.
Hmm. Oh, that's cool. And like you said, that was probably really difficult to do both at the same time.
Yeah.
I just finished studying during the summer, and I just had studying to worry about, so I couldn't
Yeah,
imagine to do both at the same time.
but to be very honest, it's
Mhm.
nice because in the US or in college in the US,
Mhm.
everything is like organized for you. At least
Mhm.
as an athlete, it's organized for you
Ah.
to have time to train, have time to go
Mhm.
to the class, and
Mhm.
have time to study.
Mhm. Mhm.
Sometimes it's hard because you travel like across the country, you go to the other side of the country, you have to study there, you have to bring your stuff on the plane and stuff. But you learn to also adapt and
Yeah.
be
Mhm.
able to get your stuff, get your things done, even if you're traveling or if you have a lot of games. So yeah, it wasn't easy, I would say, but I think the hardest years were the last 2 years
Mhm.
because it was more work for school as well. But
Yeah.
it's something that I learned to do there.
You have to grow up fast, I think.
Uh-huh.
Like if
I
you,
think so. Yeah.
especially when you don't have your family
Yeah.
with you. Then we will come to your last season at the Villanova College. Played a few times, scored also. You were like again continuing your last very good season, and then at the end of 2022, the draft happened. And before we get into your decision or how you get drafted, how was that for you? Like, were you already like, oh, I know it's normal for me because you were already in the States for a few years, or was it still a little bit like, what the hell is happening? And yeah.
No, it was crazy because
Mm-hmm.
so at the end of my last season, I had my agent that was working with me, and he was saying like you might get drafted, but we didn't know what team.
Mm-hmm.
So he was talking to a few teams. So I came home to Switzerland the day before the draft. Um, and the draft, I think in the US was at 5 p.m. So in Switzerland it was like 1 a.m. Or no, it was 11. No, it was 11 p.m. But I was still jet lagged, so I was very tired. So I was watching with my mom a little bit. I put it on like on the TV, and the first rounds they come, they pick players, and then I think I went to sleep, and then I woke up. I looked at my laptop, just looked at the list of the draft. It was like the middle of the night, and then I saw my name, and I was like, "Wow!" It was honestly one of the best feelings that I had as a player because it's something that I had in the back of my mind almost for 4 years. Um, I was never focused on that, but I always had, kind of the end goal, you know. And there's only 80 players and that get selected, and there's like I don't know how many, probably thousands of players in the U.S. So it was really a special feeling for me.
So you don't know if you will get drafted
No,
during the night, or it's just like not like when you do in Europe when you do a transfer to a different team, you
no,
probably know, but you don't know at all.
you don't.
Crazy.
I
Okay.
found out like
Mhm.
as
Like everyone else. Wow.
yeah.
So you chose, or no, you got drafted, better. You got drafted by Nashville on the
Mhm.
21st of December at the end
Yeah.
of 2022. And um h- were you happy with that? You were happy like that you get drafted, but were you happy that you will go to Nashville now and train with them, or was it like a little bit, oh, I'm worried because it's professional, you play with professional players, with men at big ages. So how were you like thinking about that?
So I think it was mixed, because I remember I was very, very excited. I was like, okay, this is, the opportunity that I wanted. I'm excited to go to Nashville. It's a great city. I was excited for everything. But I remember I got sick that following week, and so I was stressed because I couldn't train really to get ready. So I was thinking, okay, like I wish I could train, but I was trying to still do some running, and it was hard, and I was getting just more sick. But honestly, overall, it was a great feeling. Being there and yeah, like finally touching like what I wanted. It was wonderful. I really had great memories. Even my time in Nashville, it was when I got there, the guys were very welcoming. I liked the coach. I liked the training intensity was higher. It was better quality.
You felt the difference between college football.
For sure. And I think MLS has evolved so much in the last 10 years or so. And I went there and I was like, okay, this is a real level. And I was feeling pretty comfortable there. Honestly, I was playing and I was enjoying. But yeah, I really loved that part of the draft.
Did you like? Did you? I have to start different. You left Nashville at the 9th of March, to just a few months afterwards. How did that come about? Why did you make that decision?
So I was training with Nashville, but so when you get drafted, you don't have a contract right away. So you go, and then if you train with them, and then they choose, to give you a contract or not. For me, it was a little. I'm not saying that's the reason, but it was just a little bit harder because in the MLS there's a number of international players that you can have per team. So obviously it's usually bigger players. The stars that they bring, usually they're from international countries. So I was there, and I knew it was going to be hard for me because they already had, I think it was 7, and you only had 7 spots. So I knew they had to maybe release a player to get me in or buy a spot from another team. So I knew it was going to be hard. So I kind of was expecting me to move somewhere else. And then Greenville came in. They offered me, a contract right away, but they trusted me. They had a plan for me. So yeah, that's why I made the decision to go and trust it.
But like when you are at the MLS club, that if I have a draft on my CV, I probably can go to another club, right? In a high division, right? That probably helps as well, like.
For sure, yeah. It's usually how it works. Like if you get drafted and you don't sign, you'll just go down a couple or a few divisions and play there, still at the professional level.
Yeah. So then, like you already told us, you went to Greenville, and like I said, 9th of March. It's a League One club. It's just for geographics. It's in South Carolina. If I researched correctly, it's still on the East Coast, but a few 100 kilometers down. So why did you choose that club specifically? And did you talk with the coaches beforehand, with players maybe?
So for me, the choice was almost only because of the coach, because the coach, John Harkes, he's a player. He played for the U.S. national team. He played in the World Cup twice, played in the Premier League for many years. So he was a coach that I knew had a lot of experience, and I knew also that he saw me play at Villanova. He told me what games he saw from me, and he was there live. So it was good for me to go somewhere where I know the coach knows me as a player and also has the experience to make me a better player, and also maybe like take me to the next level again. So that was the reason, and I had a great conversation with him, and he said, look, we trust you. I know you're your value, and I know how I'm gonna use you, and that was enough for me to go there.
And so you hit the ground running at Greenville, scored 7 times in 15 games in your first season. Like you was a professional footballer now in the third league. How did that season work out for you? Why do you think was it so easy, or not easy, but were you so ready for that season? Was it like the coach, like you said, who was so experienced, the players, the team was so good? What was the perfect mixer?
I think first I was coming from kind of like a MLS environment, so I think my at least my expectation was a little bit higher for myself. I realized, okay, what is going to take to be at that MLS level. And then, so when I came in, I was physically fit. I felt good, and I started playing, and the coach trusted me a lot. That helped me a lot, because the coach, he played me a lot as a first year, rookie, as they call it. I had a lot of minutes, and it wasn't always easy, because it was definitely a transition as well. I didn't score. I think the first games I only had some assists, and then I really found my footing and started scoring, and I had good games. But no, it was also a great learning experience. Like I said, it was new soccer for me. It was great.
And I saw, I'm not sure if he was already playing with you at that point, but I saw there was another Swiss guy playing in Greenville, Pascal Corvino from Zurich.
Yeah.
Was he already there, or did he join you afterwards?
He joined the second year, but he's actually from Italy, but he's born, I think, in Zurich.
Oh, that's
but
why.
He has a Swiss passport.
Okay. I thought I could, because I'm from Zurich. I thought I could
really?
tell you that you played with a fellow guy from Zurich, but okay, he's Italians.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
So then we'll come to your last season at Greenville, your second one, 2024. This year, you were voted League One Player of the Year just a few weeks ago. It has been a crazy season for you. Like, again, I have to tell every one of our listeners to go and look at your highlights reel from that season. It's crazy, the goals that you scored, and like you said, tap-ins, long shots, one-time finishes, everything. And you were like voted as the best player of the season. Did that, or how was that feeling for you? Was it better than the draft? That was what I was thinking about before.
So it was different. I would say it was better than the draft, because that really came from me performing, for every step of the year. But the draft was more a surprise.
Okay.
The draft feeling was more, it hit me at once, and the player of the year was, you fight for it, you fight, and it's almost like you build, and then towards the end of the year, it's between 3 guys or 5 guys or whatever. So you're thinking, okay, hopefully I get that award, but at the same time, you're also in the middle of playoffs. You're trying to focus on winning the title, the championship. So the player of the year award is strange, because I think I got it right after, maybe the week after we lost in the playoffs. So I was still a little bit disappointed, but at the same time, I was very, very happy and honored to get that award, and especially after the work I put in for the last 2 years at Greenville.
And was that your first time playing in playoffs, or did you play second time? How is that for you? I mean, it's just like everything comes down to, it's like Champions League. Everything comes down to a few games if your season is successful or not. Is that difficult to handle?
These are my favorite games, to be honest. I love, for me, I love a game that's, if you make a mistake, you lose. If you make a play, you win. Especially as an attacker, I love those games. So yeah, playoffs for me is the best part of the season.
Cool. So, and you said your coach is called, was it Rick Wright or was it
Yeah.
that's him? I also did some research into him. Like you said, he played internationally.
That was a different. So that was
Oh,
a
that was
different coach.
different. Oh,
Yeah, John Harkes was the first guy,
yeah.
and then Rick Wright came this year. So we switched.
Oh, okay.
Wait, yeah.
Okay. So he's also really experienced. I
Yeah.
think he played. Funny enough, he played the Olympic Games. I think he played for Bermuda and the United States. That's also something I couldn't get my head around. How does he differ from the first coach at Greenville, and what can you learn from him?
So it was very, very different. He was more old school style.
Yeah, that was I was thinking about.
Yeah, he was more old school, and also he was the assistant my first year. He was one of the assistants. So him and I had a very good relationship before he became the head coach. We had a ton of conversations just about life, in the first year. So when he became the coach, I didn't know what to expect, but I knew at least he's someone that I know.
Yeah.
And he's someone, like I said, that's old school and that was, very back to the basics, not too complicated. Let's just, if there's a challenge, win the challenge. If there's a chance, score the chance, defend well, attack well. But it was not too complicated. And for me personally, it was good because he knew me from the year before, so he knew what I could do. So he really gave me a lot of freedom to like make plays, shoot a lot. He always encouraged me to shoot. So yeah, it was a good match for me this year.
And how would you like compare the League One to Swiss football? Like, or is it difficult to compare the two?
I think it's hard to compare, but I would say it's because it's a professional level, you're always going to have very good players. I feel like any professional league in the world, there's always going to be some very good players, and some maybe less good players. But like, I would say it's maybe between like challenge league and promotion. Like, I would say around that like level. I haven't played in challenge league, so I couldn't really tell you. But I think it's maybe around that level. Like, it's pretty physical, I would say, as well. But yeah, there's certainly some very good players there.
Okay. So just sorry, last few questions. I see we have already gone over our time, but you are the most prolific Swiss goal scorer in modern American men's professional soccer history. So it's a long sentence. How does that make you feel? And did you even know when scoring your goals that I can reach that record?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I knew there wasn't many Swiss guys in the US before. So for me, it's I also like that, I'm able to show a different path to becoming a professional player. I didn't realize that when I was playing, but I received a lot of messages from younger Swiss players like that played academy in Switzerland that they're curious about how it is, and because sometimes I feel like sometimes the place where you're at, it's maybe not the right fit for you in terms of what you want to do with your life. So it was nice to be able to help as well some younger athletes that were in the same shoes as me before. But yeah, in terms of being the highest Swiss scorer in the US, hopefully there's going to be more Swiss players coming and scoring more goals and and beating all these records. So it's nice to be at least one of the first ones.
So and now this worked out perfectly. We are on the 30th of November. I saw I don't know how through this, I saw on Transfermarkt that your contract is running out today at Greenville. Do you already know what you will do? Can you tell us? Will you extend or come back to Europe?
So I can't really say right now, but I think you'll find out in the next at least week or
Cool.
two.
Oh, perfect. That's so nice. We can't wait. I don't know if you know the guys. We have a few friends from Boltzplatz. It's like a Swiss magazine talking about all Swiss players in Switzerland or outside. And
Mhm.
they told us that we have to ask you for some insider news.
Okay.
For some insider news. But I
You'll
can
see
tell them
soon.
you will know in 1 week.
Yeah.
But now I would say thank you very much for taking your time to talk with us. We feel honored. It's I think it went very well. Our first English interview, and you also you were so open to me and talked about your experiences. It's perfect person to interview. And yeah, I would like to give our last words to you. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Man, thank you so much for reaching out and doing this with me. I really, really enjoyed it. It's always nice to talk to people from Switzerland that also are very passionate like you. I can feel that you're very interested in soccer and learning, and you did a lot of your research and knew a lot about my journey. So yeah, I think you do amazing work, and I feel honored to be on your platform.
Thank you very much. So thank you for listening, and yeah, bye.
Bye bye.